Right, here we go. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. This is part two, one-on-one with Dr. Michelle Nice. Dr. Nice, good evening, and how are you?
Good evening. Good evening. I am doing well. How are you, Omar?
Pretty good, and thank you for being a guest on today's program. So this is part two. So we're going to talk about some things that we discussed in part one, as we are tonight, as for some people may not have seen part one. So you're Dr. Michelle Knight. So let's start off with talking about your educational history, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, and how you end up earning your doctor's degree.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'd love to share that. And thank you for having me on again. It's
No problem.
always great to be with you. Our first conversation was great. We had another one. The last one, we spent some time just really getting to know each other a little bit more and sharing with the world what we do. So when you invited me back, it was a true privilege, and I appreciate that.
No
Thanks
problem.
for all the great work you've been doing in the community also.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm honored.
You're
Okay, so
welcome.
your educational background, let's talk about that.
Yes. So my educational journey has been an interesting one. I started off with the natural sciences. So I got my bachelor's degree in chemistry. And my plan at the time was to go into medicine, but life took a different turn, and I started a family and always knew that I was going to go back to school. And so later on in life, I went back to graduate school, and this time I got into the social sciences.
Okay.
And so I did a master's degree in human development and family studies. And then I did a PhD in HDFS, Human Development and Family Studies.
Wow, I mean, that is so awesome. Now, how long did it take you to earn your PhD?
Oh my goodness. It must have been a couple of years beyond my master's. So I never really think about this in terms of how many years, because I was working full time. And in the PhD program, I really wasn't supposed to be working at all, but I had to work. I was divorced with 3 children, and I had to work. So I figured it out. The program should take about 4 to 5 years sometimes, and I believe mine took around 4 years. It's been a blur sometimes. I haven't really even paused long enough to think about how long this took me. All I knew is that I was on this incredible journey, and I wanted to get out as quickly as possible.
And then what was your dissertation on?
My dissertation, well, my work up until my dissertation was always centered around the well-being of children. So if I can go back a little bit in answering this question, during my years of service and my work, I worked for public health, and that work was through a collaboration with the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. And so we got a grant that allowed us to look at the prevalence and incidence of birth defects within the state of Delaware. And that work was really important to understand from a public health perspective, and really securing the health of the citizens of Delaware. Where are these clusters happening, if there are clusters, and what might be contributing factors to various birth defects? And so from there, I actually moved on to another project with a big collaboration with Christiana Care at the time, in the city of Wilmington, and various other strategic partners, and work centered around reducing infant mortality. So this is about 20 years ago. And at the time, the rate of infant mortality in Delaware was really high. In Delaware was ranking number 1, number 2 in the country. And so this was pivotal work that we needed to investigate what was happening, why babies being born in the state of Delaware were not surviving past the first year of life. And of course, there were many factors that played into those very concerning statistics, but really very concerning reality. And they primarily had significant impact in minority communities. So of course, I was very interested in that work. Then I did some work with Early Head Start. So again, to really try to improve developmental outcomes and educational outcomes for young children who were at risk in one way or another, socially, economically, and otherwise. And by the time I got to my graduate studies for my dissertation, of course, my history of being very concerned about the well-being of children was front and center. So my dissertation centered around looking at developmental pathways for children at risk and how we could improve their outcomes, how we can improve attachment to their primary caregivers, create a very secure base for their development, and then look at the educational impact, the social impact, as we considered some of the risk and adversity that young children were experiencing.
That sounds like a lot. They're very intense, but it's something that's definitely needed. Now, your resume and your bio is very extensive. What is your current occupation right now?
So after I got my PhD, I worked for various universities as a professor, and I really enjoyed that impact that I was able to have there. And I had a different calling. I was really inspired to use my education, my training for something that extended beyond the walls of an institution. And so now, as an entrepreneur, I coach, I help people understand the various dimensions of their life that are important to focus on. Right. The work of the 10 life values that I've talked about on this program before, that Dr. Holman created, and it fit in such an incredible way with the work that I've done in the past, and it just brought a really great structure around human development and the things that are important for really living a fulfilled life. And so those are values. So I help people understand what these 10 life values are about and how they can use them to organize and manage their lives to elevate in every aspect of their lives. And one of those areas is health. The second value actually is health value. And so one of the things that I am fortunate to do is to promote overall health and well-being for men through the use of our product, A-Game, at agameherbal.com, that we've talked about. And that's a pivotal part of my work right now. The other part that's emerging is my Courage to Continue platform for women.
Right. Okay, let's stay on A-Game for a moment. Sure. If you elaborate just a little bit more, as a product for men, what exactly, if someone came to you and say, Dr. Knights, I want to take this supplement, what will it do for me? So how would you respond by that? And what are the ingredients?
Okay, well, first of all, when I talk with people about A-Game and what it can do for them, our conversation really centers around improving overall health and well-being. And it also has a performance benefit to it. Okay. So A-Game came out of the work of the 10 life values, of the work that Dr. Holman did. Over 30 years ago, this work started. So he's impacted a lot of men, over 1 million men over this period of time. And one of the things that he saw was that men needed some support in their health. Men were suffering in silence and really not even talking to their medical providers and sometimes their spouses about their concerns. And so he met men in various places in the community. It might have been in churches, or in the court system, or in universities, anywhere. There was this common theme that emerged when he looked into the eyes of a man and he talked to him and saw that there were some serious medical issues that Black men particularly were dealing with, and didn't really have supports and solutions that were safe and effective. So with his extensive background in traditional Chinese medicine and African herbs and African medicine, he went to the lab and created A-Game. So A-Game, this is what it looks like. It's a product exclusively designed for men, and it's got 21 herbs, 21 natural ingredients that really work on the overall body, but the primary focus is going to be on your organs. Okay, so these herbs are designed to heal. They're designed to nourish and repair damaged tissues, damaged cells. And so some of the things that men are dealing with in a very traditional way would be hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, lack of energy, diminished libido. All of these concerns get addressed with A-Game. If someone wants to see all the ingredients, they can go to agameherbal.com. And we've listed all the 21 herbs and the things that they do. Some of these herbs are instrumental in supporting cardiovascular function, joints and overall body structures. So when you think about how extensive A-Game is in terms of what it does for a man, it can be a lot, but it's great because it's going to work according to the needs of your body. If we were to really summarize what it does, let's think about overall blood flow. It's going to increase proper blood flow. And as a man, you would know that that's critical really for all of us. If we have an obstruction in our bodies that interfere with the blood flow, that's a potentially serious health concern that could lead to death. So what a brilliant solution that A-Game has turned out to be, designed by Dr. Holman, because he understood that for the body to work optimally, you've got to increase and provide mechanisms for proper blood flow. Right. It's also going to help with building your immune system, along with increasing vitality, energy, strength, and libido.
Right. Okay, so some common questions those who are watching right now may ask. First one is this a meal replacement? For example, can I take this in the afternoon instead of eating lunch? Can I just take the supplements as a replacement for lunch?
No, it's not a meal replacement. It is truly something that enhances what you are doing on a regular basis. So, of course, we encourage clean eating, healthy eating, but where there are deficits, A-Game comes in and fills those voids. So you still need to eat your regular meals. You still need to have a balanced diet. A-Game comes in as a solution to the problems that exist in terms of being able to control diseases such as hypertension, which is running rampant in our communities and in our families. And it gets to be really personal when someone we know and love is affected in a way that we see their performance diminished. We see them not being able to feel anything in their feet from chronic effects of having prolonged diabetes. Right? So the solution is not a food replacement type of thing, even though A-Game with the 21 herbs that's in there, it's a food. It's all natural food, but it's working medicinally in terms of the repair that it's going to do in addressing the damage to your body and your cells.
Right. Another common question one may ask, are there any side effects from taking this?
I actually really love when that question comes up, because I'd rather people ask that than wonder silently or quietly about what this is going to do in a negative way to their bodies, right? So because this is a food, because it's all natural and it's safe and extremely effective. There are no side effects. In fact, side effects are ascribed to prescription drugs. So when you have chemicals that are formulated to address a particular issue, those are going to have side effects associated with them. When you're talking about a food, what's typical, what we expect to see is a reaction, right? You might have a reaction to peanuts or some type of food in a particular way. And so reactions is what is more in alignment, is correct in talking about herbs and what might happen in our bodies. Again, I'll tell you that these herbs are metabolized based on the condition of your body. So if you're in good health or poor health or average health, you're probably going to have a little bit of a different process of metabolism and effects or reactions to these herbs. Some of the more common reactions that we see are maybe a slight headache or a little bit of an upset stomach. And the thing that helps address those increasing your water intake. So if you think about it, these herbs are increasing blood flow, right? So you have these coming in and hitting your pituitary, your pineal gland, your liver, kidney, prostate. And if there isn't enough water pushing these herbs through your body, it could very well cause a headache to happen. So we want to encourage people, when you're using A-game, you've got to drink a lot of water. We recommend 8 to 10 cups of water per day. And one capsule of A-game will stay in your body for 3 to 4 days. So it's not just when you take A-game, but it's every day that it stays in your system. You really want to hydrate well and help move these herbs throughout your body.
So it seems like you just have to take it like maybe a couple times a week as opposed to every day.
You take it once every 3 to 4 days. No, it's not a daily consumption. It's formulated to stay in your body for a period of time, which is great because often people don't remember to take medicine or supplements every day. And some men really like the fact that, oh, I can just take this twice a week and I'm good, or 3 times a week and I'm good. Yes. And that's one of the things that really attract people to A-game.
You know, and just looking at the aspect of the A-game, if it improves the performance of men, I would say that mentally it affects your self-esteem. It builds your self-esteem because if it's increasing my performance, man, I'm happy, I'm motivated, I have a high desire, man. I feel like I'm the man. So it seems like mentally it kind of helps you as well.
Oh, absolutely. And there are herbs in A-game that actually help to stimulate the production of serotonin, and we call them happiness hormones, you know, because they help to elevate your mood. But not just that part of the benefit exists from the herbs themselves, but you're right. When you start to feel more clarity, when your energy and strength are increased, your libido is increased, of course, it's going to increase your confidence. I've spoken to a lot of men who use our product, and a great way of describing this is when they tell me, you know, I feel like I can conquer whatever is in front of me. Absolutely. That's going to, you know, really make you feel on top of the world. And so that's been the experience of a lot of men using A-game.
Right. You know, well, once again, as I explained earlier, that your resume and bio is very extensive. In addition to all the things that you do, you're also an international speaker. Where has been some of the places worldwide that you have spoken, and what are some of the topics that you have focused on, or that you currently still focus on?
Oh, yes, I'd love to share that. Before we move on, just for your listeners who might have become interested in knowing what A-game can do for them, I've created a special coupon code for your audience. And so if anybody wants to try it out, you can go to agameherbal.com, and for the monthly supply, we're going to give you a 20% off coupon just for being part of Omar's program, and that coupon is Omar20, OMAR20. So if you'd like to increase your health and well-being, increase your libido, your energy, and your strength, increase your immune system, please feel free, courtesy of our conversation this evening, to enjoy a 20% discount.
Oh man, I never was responsible for a discount. Man, I feel like a celebrity. Oh man.
Well, you should feel like
Oh,
a celebrity. You're doing great things for the
okay.
community.
Okay, and before we end the program, we'll go back to A Game. Just remind the watchers, the viewers, where they can order it, and so be. So going back to what I was previously asked about your speaking skills, like I said, you're an international speaker. Where have been some of the places that you have spoken, and what are the topics that you focus on?
Oh, sure. So I've spoken in the Caribbean, in West Africa, so in Nigeria particularly, Belize. I've spoken in the UK and parts of Europe, and across the United States, as well as Canada. So it's been a real blessing and privilege to have traveled and spoken to people in various cultures. One of the things that I really enjoy is meeting people and hearing, reminded how very similar we are. We are all on this journey of life to live the best life possible, to continue to grow and make progress in our lives and really elevate. You know, everybody's looking for advancement and to enhance their lives. And I think one of the things that we know to be true for people abroad is that they really have an image, a perception of the American dream. And so that's why you see people from many walks of life hoping to get onto American soil so that they can get a piece, just a slice of this American pie, and elevate their lives. With this pandemic, that's decreased a lot of travel and a lot of opportunities, but fortunately, with platforms such as this, we can continue to speak to people all over the world and hear from them. And what has not changed is this desire within people to live the best life they can and to create legacy for their families.
Right. I want to stay on the topic of public speaking, because there are many of us who get nervous about public speaking. For example, like if you're in college or high school and you got a paper to present, you know, you're up for days, nervous. Oh man, about speaking in front of a crowd, but you do it regularly. So let me ask you, do you ever get nervous when you speak in front of a large audience?
You know, not really nervous, but you know, sometimes I think there's a bit of, I want to make sure that I'm delivering to people what they need from me, what they've come to get. And so there is that measure of service. I want to make sure that I'm serving well. I'm just not out here talking because I have something to say. I just really want to reach those who I could inspire, who I can motivate or encourage. One of the things that my speaking will do on my Courage to Continue platform is that very thing, to offer hope, to help people know that there are tangible ways you can go about elevating your life. So not really nervous, but just wanting to make sure that I'm serving well.
Right. Another question I always wanted to ask the public speakers, you got some very intellectual, motivated speakers such as yourself. When you're speaking and when a crowd starts clapping and you start standing up, give you an applause during your speaking presentation, does that give you even more motivation and desire?
Oh, absolutely. You know, whenever people are receiving what you're saying and they're being moved by it, yeah, it absolutely stirs you on to do more. And, you know, if you're speaking to an audience and there is no response and people are not positively engaging with you, you as a speaker, you feel that. And it affects, or it can affect what you're doing and how you're doing it. In your mind, you're like, okay, I need to change path, or I need to change my course here. I need to reach who I'm talking to in a way that impacts them. So yes, you're definitely encouraged by the response you're getting from your audience.
Okay, on the opposite end of it, I mean, more than likely this probably didn't happen to you, but let's say you get John Smith who's speaking in front of a crowd. I'm giving you a scenario. And he's speaking and he says something that the crowd doesn't like, and the crowd starts to boo. So what words of encouragement or what recommendations would you give someone so when they're speaking in front of an audience or a crowd and the crowd starts to boo, what should the speaker do?
Oh my goodness, it really depends on the situation you're in. Sometimes you can turn that around, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you might just need to respond to the environment that you're in and be done. If they're not receiving what you're saying, what's the point of saying it? Always go to where you're being received. And if you have the opportunity to be in front of people, find a way to give them something that's valuable. So if John is giving a message to an audience and he's being booed, his message is not valuable. What he's saying, even though there might be value in it, is not valuable to them. So he can try to really read that crowd quickly, or he might even try to find someone in the audience who is resonating with him and kind of zone in on that person and keep going, build from there. And maybe he's determined to finish his speech, and so he gets the completion with, you know, zoning in on someone who's given him a little bit of encouragement. But I think it really depends on the speaker. Some might decide to bow out gracefully, and some might say, no, I'm here and I'm going to finish telling you what I came to tell you.
Right. So it also depends on the individual. We just spoke earlier of different places that you had spoken across, you know, the world. You yourself, you were from Trinidad. How long have you been residing in the United States of America, and what made you decide to move from Trinidad to the USA?
So I came to the United States to pursue my education, and like many people from different parts of the world, coming to America for college is the thing that can open up a lot of doors. So that was my journey. My experience was I wanted to get into college and do graduate work. And so I came to America. I got into New York from Trinidad. And that was about 35 years ago.
Wow. Okay, that is awesome. So you're
long time.
wow. So you know, because I would imagine, you know, moving from one country to another, it could be a culture shock. I was speaking to someone, Jemima Chucks. I spoke to her.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's from Africa, and
a friend of mine. Yes,
right.
sister.
Definitely. She's killing it through the real estate. It's almost every week she's
really
telling us. But I asked her what were some of the culture shocks that she experienced once she moved from Africa to the United States. So I want to ask you the same question. You know, when you moved from Trinidad to the United States, was it a culture shock from you, or were there things that you saw here that was like, man, that is, well, I mean, that is like totally out there.
Oh, absolutely. And it depends on your age. When you come to the US, I think she was a little bit older than I was. Okay. I came from a very sheltered environment to New York City, a small island, very religious background, very family focused, and got into New York with everything. I came in the mid 80s. So, you know, you had punk and rock, and you know, there was a lot happening culturally. And yeah, it was a total shock just to know, first of all, that I was in the city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
People were on the streets, hustling and bustling, going to and fro at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. People were always going somewhere. It was busy constantly. And so I wondered, what were people doing? Where were they going? Is it a party life? Is it a work life? Is it a combination? And then the subways in New York were very unusual. Initially, when I saw the subways, I didn't like it at all because it was this deep, dark abyss, this hole where people just disappeared. And I was with my aunt, and she left for work every day on the subway, and I thought, wow, she just disappeared and is gone.
Yeah.
Now I'm left here trying to figure this out. So, but then there's a little bit of intimidation, a little hesitation about exploring the subway system or just traveling through the city. And once you begin, and back in those days, I had paper maps. Now we have GPS and apps on our smartphones. And so I learned to read maps and was able to chart things out and figure out where I was going. That was a really big culture shock. Another culture shock would be food. There was food of every kind everywhere. But it was nice to also see that I can get my Caribbean food in New York. It was everywhere. My food from Trinidad, roti and curry and doubles and all of those favorites. So I felt some connection to home, even being away. I think another really big culture shock was the abundance of everything. Whether it was good or bad, there was plenty of it. And seeing people have access to fast foods and every type of thing, obesity rates being what they were and currently is, just the different lifestyle and the outcomes of those lifestyles was something that I paid attention to.
Very nice. In your bio, you may mention that you're a performance coach. What is it? What is a performance coach, and what is it that you help people do?
So I did that in a number of ways. In the world of academia, there was an opportunity to help people with their performance by helping them to chart their course, determining what the best course of study was for them and how to get out in 4 years and not stay beyond that time. A lot of students would change their majors, and as a result, they ended up having a career as a student in college. Then there was life after your degree. So helping people to really be at the top of their performance with making sure that their training was not just theoretical, but it was also applied, and having internship opportunities, being able to apply strategies that got them standing outside of the crowd, just really pulling themselves apart from everybody else because they were more in tune with what the workplace needed. So there was some of that work done in academia. There was some done in corporate America. And then I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs who wanted to reach the height of their business, and had the opportunity to really do a lot of training around marketing, around how to acquire clients, so customer acquisition and being able to sustain the length of time that a customer stayed with a person. What I found to be common across all of these areas of increasing performance was really mindset. And your own personal development. So even now, as someone who's had a lot of training, I continue to grow every day. I continue to work on myself. There are a lot of areas of my life that I needed to really focus on and improve on. And so some of the same things I work with people with, I'm doing on myself. It's always easier to help someone else. I can help you. I can focus on you and tell you what you should do and actually see a lot of results from that. I've had people increase their performance and their income by 10 times what they were doing. Though when it comes to you personally, it's not so easy because now you have to turn inwards, right? You have to look. It's always more difficult when you're looking at someone in the frame yourself, but if you are in the frame, it's more difficult to see that. And so it's important to work with people who can help you see your shortcomings. We become blind to ourselves. And that's why it's important to work with a performance coach or a mentor, or just someone who has some expertise in an area that you're trying to grow in. And regardless of who we are or our backgrounds, our trainings, we always have to work on our minds. There are things from our lives as young children that we create beliefs around. We form emotional attachments to events, things that's happened in our lives. And believe it or not, those things carry through into our adult years and can affect our current belief system, belief in ourselves, belief in what we're able to do,
Right.
and belief in our true capacity. And so as a result of that, our performance, and especially as we look at it through the lens of the 10 life values, our performance, whether it's spiritually, health, whether it's in our education or in our profession, in our wealth development, you can pick any one of those 10 life values, and there will be opportunities to increase our performance in each of those areas.
What's so amazing to me, what's really impressive to me is that I see seniors, maybe let's say 65, 70, $80 that continue to live their life as the fullest. Because sometimes there are those of us younger who say, oh, so-and-so is 60 years old, so-and-so is 65 years old. Oh man, it's time for you to retire. Man, it's time for you to just to go to the senior home. It's time for you to just go play bingo. But there are seniors who, for example, Dr. Sally Merberstein, she has a PhD, but I think she's in her early 70s, and she went back to the University of Delaware to get a master's degree. There are those seniors who are 70, 80 years old who pump weights, who go to the gym and have some awesome body, slim and trim.
Absolutely.
So speak for a moment about, although you may be in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, life doesn't stop. I mean, if you have a goal in life, achieve it. Get that college degree at 90 years old, because I see that too on Facebook. I mean, that is so amazing, because again, we think that if a person gets a certain age, they're just supposed to sit back, just be content and do nothing.
Because my background is in human development and family studies, and also because I'm a true believer in the human capacity to learn and grow, I know that we should never give up on anyone. Even if they've given up on themselves, we have the ability to spark life into someone. Equally, we have the ability to take that life away from someone. So we have to be very careful with how we use our power and our abilities. And when we know that anyone, regardless of their age, can continue to grow and thrive, then we have a responsibility to support that if we are placed in that person's life. At least that's my belief. And as we use the 10 life values as a system and a structure to support that belief, then we know we can help someone who is a young child, or someone who's a teenager, someone moving into adulthood and in age and years. So yeah, someone 70, 80, they can still grow spiritually, right? They can still grow with their health. In fact, people who are in those later years of life and might be more susceptible to Alzheimer's or dementia, or things that suggest that there is some breakdown, some decline and decay of brain activity. We see gains in that part of their life when their brains are stimulated. Maybe it's doing crossword puzzles, maybe it's music or reading, or just getting them to have their synapses firing. Maybe it's physical activity that gets the rest of their body going. So knowing that we as human beings, until we have no more life in us and no more breath, what we do have is the capacity. Up until that moment, we have the capacity to grow. and nothing continues to grow as much as our brains.
Right. Excellent, excellent. You elaborated on the project that you're doing with Men and Trans the A Game. I want to give you just a little bit more time just to talk about the program that you have for women. Just define what it is again, and if there are any women that's watching, how can they get involved with the program that you're with?
Sure, thanks for allowing me to share that. Over the years, I've worked with women in different capacities. And so now I have the opportunity to launch a new platform called Courage to Continue. And I get to help women look at these 10 areas of their lives from the 10 life values. And in so doing, I help them to see what's currently happening and how they can understand where the deficits are, where they can grow, where they can excel. Now, some people might be doing great in one area. I've done great in education. I need to continue to grow spiritually. That's just something that personally I need to continue to do every day. I need to grow more in my health. As we get older, there are things that we need to address. And so on the Courage to Continue platform, it's really one about hope. It's one about elevating women. A lot of the women that I work with are high achieving women, but I work with women of all walks of life. We have a program that's called the Motherhood Academy. Fatherhood Academy, which urban men for so this is for mothers who really want to understand what's happened in their childhood and how it's impacted them as adults and how they are impacting their children with creating values, living a value filled life. We know that there are a lot of messages around the world. And if mothers are focused in on improving their parenting, and help their children to grow into the wives, if they're girls' wives that they need to be, or the husbands that they need to be, then we are really making a great impact in the world. So the Courage to Continue platform will offer opportunities for people to get into juicing to improve their health. In fact, on the 24th, I am kicking off a program to help people to detox and to increase their energy and to just get healthier using juicing. So we're going to talk about the power of juices, the significance of getting close to the sun. And we do that with consuming foods that are grown naturally and have the energy of the sun in them and what it's going to do to our bodies. I'm going to lead people through a juice feast. And in some instances, a juice fast, and just really try to reset your body and get ready for the things that we have to face in 2021. So that's going to be a lot of what you can expect in the Courage to Continue platform. Some other things we're going to offer will include poise and gracious conversations and dining etiquette and social graces and things like that. So there will be a number of things that we offer on this platform.
Okay, now is this going to be a Zoom seminar, or how's this going to go?
So the juicing seminar that's coming up on the 24th will be done by Zoom. And if people wanted to know more about that and get involved with it, they can reach out to me. My number is 302-897-9690. You can call or text me and I will get you the information. You can also find me on Facebook and send me a message, and I'll be happy to provide the link to you so you can enroll in our program.
Now going back to the juice thing, is this like a meal replacement, whereas you just drink juice in the AM, or you just drink it in the PM or the afternoon? How's this work?
Yes, this is actually going to serve as a meal replacement. We're going to do it for 2 weeks, and we're going to really teach you about your body and how you can use juicing to get a lot of the nutrients that you need.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, I heard someone is working on a book, right? Yeah, talk about that.
Absolutely. So my book is coming out. It's also called Courage to Continue.
Okay.
And in this book, I share a lot of stories about my life, stories that I think any woman can relate to, really any person can relate to. I feel like my life has been one of courage, having to live courage, having to face fear of the unknown and do it anyhow. I'm sorry, something's tickling my throat.
Okay, no problem.
But the key thing is to encourage others that regardless of your journey, regardless of the obstacles that you face, you can develop the courage you need to continue in your quest for happiness, for success, for abundance, for living a fulfilled life. You know, we are all on different pathways. And I'd like to share a story with you, give you
Oh, sure.
a glimpse of some of the things I talk about in this book.
Okay.
Like I've shared with you, I've traveled a lot, but I've also traveled domestically in the US. I've driven a lot. I want to talk about driving. In fact, when I was faculty at Penn State University, I drove from Delaware to Penn State every day. And that was a 3-hour commute each way. And then I've driven, there's a lot of commute, and then I've driven in many up to Canada. I worked in Canada for a year. So being on the road was never an issue for me. I enjoyed it actually. And when I think about how easy driving is for me, and my daughters would often say, you're one of the best drivers I know. Okay, I appreciate that. But it was something that I had to do and something that I enjoyed doing. But that was not always the case. That was not always my experience. I came out of a divorce that was very difficult. And during that time, I encountered a lot of stress and emotional distress. And it affected me in a way that actually hindered me from driving. I would avoid the highways at all costs. Any local road, I would map it out and take that just to make sure I didn't get onto 95 or any highway. I felt fear. I felt so paralyzed. And I just could not survive the highway, or so I thought. And then once I came out of my divorce, I said to myself, you know, I have to address this. I have to face this fear. I was facing a lot of other things in my life. That's when I went back to graduate school. I matriculated into my master's program. So I was doing a lot of things, and there was a lot of unknown. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had 3 little kids and I was working full time, and I just didn't know, but I knew that I had to face my fears and I had to have the courage to continue on with my calling, what was required of me. So I said to myself, you know, one day I'm going to drive on the highway. I will. I'm not ready right now, but one day I will. And I remember leaving Wilmington one day and inadvertently took the wrong road that I thought would put me onto the local road, but instead it took me onto the highway. And so now I am totally paralyzed. I'm holding the wheel and I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, I am going on this highway and I can't turn back. There was no diversion. I had to keep going forward. And I said, well, maybe this is someday. Right now is someday. I have to face it. And I'm going to do this. And I just held the wheel, took a breath, said a prayer, and continued rolling along 95. And it was in that moment of facing my fear, of overcoming this paralysis, of overcoming this lack of confidence because I was so emotionally distressed, and that's how it manifested itself. That's how it played out. I realized that I can face anything if I get through this. And I continued on the highway, and I developed more and more courage, and I just continued on and continued on. And once I got to my exit and I came off, I felt invigorated, but I was also shaken. And I thought, wow, what a great lesson for me. And what a great lesson for others like me who might be facing the unknown, might be facing a fear of something they don't think they can do, of something that totally paralyzes them. You talk about public speaking earlier. It could be public speaking.
Mhm.
It could be starting a business. It could be going to another level of your business. It could be parenting. It could be anything. But whatever it is that is showing up in your life as a fear and holding you back on your journey, as you travel through this journey of life and you're holding on to your particular wheel of your vehicle, know that you just need to trust yourself a little more. Know that you need to develop within you the belief, the confidence, and the courage to just really push on, to continue on with what's before you. And while I lived those moments of this story, it was bigger than just getting through this highway experience. It was really confirmation for me that no matter what I faced, and I'd already faced a lot. I faced leaving the security of my home
Mhm.
on a small island and coming to the United States of America, complete unknown. So I'd been there before where I needed to have courage, whether it was facing new life after divorce, whether it was looking at situations that are risky and could result in death if I didn't keep myself focused on the road. It didn't matter what the situation was at the moment. What mattered was recognizing that each of us has a journey that we're on, and we're literally driving through this journey in one vehicle form or another. It might be a great marriage, it might be a bad marriage, it might be failing in school, it might be succeeding in school. You've got to trust yourself. You've got to find tools that help you to organize and manage both your thought processes as well as just the reality of your life, and find that courage to continue.
Right. And in this journey, whatever your dreams and aspirations that you want to fulfill, I think it's very significant that we build relationship with others in terms of reaching our goals, having it as a support
Yeah.
system, because we can't do it alone. Would you agree?
Absolutely. We are not built to do any of this alone. I know that as a woman who was divorced and trying to raise children alone, trying to live life and determine, my profession, my career, even my spiritual experience, doing that alone is very difficult. There's nothing like doing it with community and family. It's nothing like doing it with a spouse. And now that I am able to live that experience and have the support and the leadership, and know that when we are weak, we can draw on a husband, our children, our family who's around us and who's strong. So yes, we're not built for doing and living life alone. We need community.
Earlier, you used the word several times, courage. On the opposite end of that, there are those who discourage you from fulfilling your dreams, or you can't do this. I mean, you're not good enough for that. So in this path of the journey that we take, there are those who, they're not going to be supportive. We got to just put them aside. I mean, you're just going to say, listen, negative people, you may have to avoid being part of your life. What's your take on that?
Yeah, you're right. There are people who are going to discourage you for one reason or another. Maybe because if you excel beyond your group, you're leaving them behind, possibly, right? Or people might look at you and wonder, well, who do you think you are? You think you're better than us now? I got some of that after I got my doctorate, but no, I'm still the same person, just more informed, and I have more responsibility now. But there are people who are going to discourage you because they might not believe in you, don't think you can do it, or that you're deserving of that progress. We are deserving of living the most fulfilled lives possible, because that's what we were created for.
Okay, let's go back to the A game. What responses have you gotten from men who have taken it? And then for those who are watching, what is the price? What is the website that he can go on to order the product? Or even if it's a female who wants to order it for her brother or her husband, her son.
Yeah, absolutely. The website, thank you, is agameherbal.com, and that's AGAMEHERBAL, just as it sounds, agameherbal.com. And a lot of women are the ones who purchase A-Game for the men in their lives. You know, women like to buy. We're consumers, we're purchasers. Hopefully we are the women who are wise with our purchases. And this would be a wise purchase, ladies, because we are helping to support the health and well-being, the overall wellness of the men in our lives. So it's found on A-Game Herbal. The pricing, you can get 2 capsules, which last about a week, and that's $24. And then the monthly supply, which there are 10 capsules, just as I showed before, there are 10 capsules in the monthly supply. That's $124.95. And you take one every 3 days. And so some of the benefits, again, that we've heard from men, there are men whose A1C levels improved dramatically to where their doctors wanted to know what they were doing. I have one of our loyal customers who's also become one of our partners. He's a pharmacist. He's owned many pharmacies in Florida. And he said, what A-Game did for him, nothing else has done, not just for his A1C levels, but just his overall health. And he'll never be without A-Game in his body. We had another gentleman who suffered from very severe erectile dysfunction, and he tried all the prescription medications, Viagra, Cialis, everything out there on the market, and nothing worked. In fact, a lot of prescription medications of any kind will cause more damage on your organs. Your kidneys will take a beating with some of these prescription medications, your liver also. So with A-Game being safe and effective, we have a lot of men who like that, and they're getting results. We often are told that there's nothing on the market like A-Game. It works in terms of the libido benefit. It works better than some of these other prescription medications, and it also works better than some of the other herbal things that you might find on the market. And it all has to do with the formulation and the herbs that were selected. We use the best parts of the herb. We don't create a cheap product. We don't try to cut corners and use the lowest grade of anything. It's the highest. We're about excellence, and that's what you want to put in your body, and that's the results you get. I'll tell you one of the benefit we've heard. One of our physicians, our medical director, who's a good friend of mine, he's our medical director here and internationally, Dr. Delicate. He said that one of the reasons he came on board with A-Game is because of the impact that it has on reducing high blood pressure. As a cardiovascular surgeon, a lot of people come into his practice because of uncontrolled high blood pressure. And he takes them into surgery. He's doing surgeries in Nigeria and Ghana and across the United States. And so he sees this problem all the time. And to know that A-Game offers a natural way to reduce blood pressure was something that caused him to come on board with us. And his patients are loving it.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. Did you foresee in the near future, or maybe 3-4 years from now, that A-Game will be in local stores?
You know, our current business models support distributors, and anything is possible. We would love to have those conversations because our primary goal is to get A game into the hands of those who need it. And we want to make impact globally. So very likely, but at the moment, we have people who partner with us as distributors, and so they represent the A game brand. We have others who partner with us as white label partners. So they're able to take our product, a great high quality product that we manufacture ourselves, and they get to put their own label on it and represent it as their own. They really love that option to serve their customers with this product with their own brand. And so it could very well be where we expand our business model and you are able to see it in the store nearby. We are in 120 locations across the US and around the world at the moment, and we're always looking to expand.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Now you've won numerous awards. Talk about some of the awards that you won.
Oh my goodness. Some of those awards I think you're talking about were during my graduate work.
Okay.
One in particular was after I completed my dissertation, I won the dissertation award. I attended the University of Delaware, and within our college, I won the dissertation award, which was very humbling. It was a great opportunity to receive a financial award as well as, you know, a plaque that I can have always. And then I was able to speak to the student body and encourage those working on their dissertation to complete it. I always tell people the best dissertation is a finished dissertation.
Right.
So it's, you know, you can really hang in there for a long time trying to make it perfect, trying to put all that you can into it. I remember telling the students that while your dissertation is a culminating piece of work of your studies, it is not the end. It's really the beginning. So yes, there will be more work that you can do and will be able to do. So don't let yourself get delayed by trying to make this your one big final piece of work. Finish it, provide some great contribution to the field, and expand the knowledge that's available to help others in their life.
Okay, Dr. Nice. So we got a couple of minutes remaining. I'm going to allow you to have some closing remarks for those who are watching, and also if you have any contact information for those who would like for you to for speaking engagements or even for networking, just feel free to leave your contact information. But any final take that you want to say?
Yes, I so appreciate that, Omar. We're still working on the website for Courage to Continue. So if people wanted to reach out to me for the Juicing program, for the Motherhood Academy, or for any of the other components that I've spoken of, you can feel free to reach me personally by cell 302-897-9690. You can call or text. You can also email me. It's drmichelleKnights, drmichelleKnights@gmail.com. You can send me a message here on Facebook. And you can reach out to Omar, who will get the message to me as well. So I'm here to serve. I would love to help you organize and manage your life, help you discover the values in your life that you can work on. And there is a lot that we can really process through to help you manifest the goals and the dreams, desires that you have in your heart. So I'd love to connect with you. Thank you for sharing me with your audience, Omar. I'm always appreciative and humbled by your invitations. I admire the work that you do. I applaud you on your successes. Congratulations on your recent awards as well. And having gotten your coaching certificate, you're about to do some additional great things. I look forward to maybe collaborating with you on some of those.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, yes,
Dr. Nice.
terrific.
So thank you for being a guest this evening, and the door is always open.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thanks. And to your audience, your listeners who joined us, who stayed with us, if there is anything I can do to help you, let me know. Again, I'm here to serve, and I thank you for joining us this evening.
And I also thank the audience for joining in. Please like, subscribe, and share. All right, until next time, have a safe and blessed day. All right, Dr. Nice, take care.
Take care, Omar. Bye now.
Bye-bye.